Tom King expects readers to believe Bane's original loss to Batman, the War of Jokes and Riddles, Batman and Catwoman's engagement and subsequent not wedding, Booster Gold's The Gift, and more are all connected. It made no sense prior to issue 72. It makes no sense after. Tom King's Batman continues its free fall into the abyss. DC Comics recently confirmed King is moving off the Batman series at issue 85. He's moving to event book Batman Catwoman and possibly a Wally West miniseries following his assassination of the character's legacy in Heroes in Crisis. Issue 85 isn't nearly soon enough. Batman needs an exorcism from King's pretentious, convoluted, self-indulgent beta male Bruce Wayne fanfic immediately. His storycraft devolved to such a degree he now regularly rewrites events and characters to fit his own plot contrivances. Average writers build stories around continuity and establish character history and motivations. Tom is so broken at this point, he's given up trying to tell coherent stories. King wants readers to believe Batman is broken after the events of Batman number 50. Batman readers know it's King himself who truly broke following the wedding that never was. He simply can't write at this stage of his career. Issue 71 ends on a very interesting cliffhanger. Batman strikes Tim Drake's Robin for trying to help him. This has a reverberating impact on Batman and his family moving forward to issue 75. King tells comicbook.com, when you hit 75, you'll be as low as Batman gets. What's the fallout of Batman striking one of his proteges? That's a great question. Batman 72 doesn't mention it once. It's a previously on Batman issue, recapping events in the preceding 71 issues. He also tries his hardest to reshape his stories with Bane behind everything since Batman restarted at issue 1 in 2016. Tom King now presents Bane as an all-knowing character in the mold of Dr. Manhattan, rather than the character Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan created in 1993's Vengeance of Bane number 1. It doesn't work. At all. Readers bored to death with Batman haven't seen nothing yet. This issue is one extremely long monologue of Thomas Wayne explaining Bane's convoluted master plan to Bane himself. Not one single thing happens in this issue. It features beautiful splash pages from Michael Janin depicting key moments from the previous 71 issues. The monologue syncs up with Janin's art for the most part. Batman is set up by Bane from the beginning. He orchestrates events that necessitate Batman recruit a team of villains to stop him. Selina Kyle, or the Catwoman, is a part of Bane's plan to destroy Bruce from the start. Bane manipulates Bruce Wayne into falling in love with Selina Kyle. Joker and Riddler help Bane understand Batman is no different than the villains he fights. In his heart, Batman is a monster, hiding behind the mask of a man. He is a war waiting for peace. I've heard questions about who the real personality is, Batman or Bruce. There's validity to that debate, but King's misunderstanding of Batman really shines here. Bruce Wayne lives by a code that keeps him from being like the villains he fights. Tom King believes in his heart Bruce is a monster. How did DC Comics leadership let him last 85 issues on their flagship series? In this panel, King churns out Twilight-esque shitty dialogue. He describes Batman's relationship with Catwoman as something he could finally put above his fancy sacred vow. She was something different. His love for her was not the altruistic love of a father for his children. It was the utterly mercenary love of a man in need. A love so dynamic, so vigorous, it might help that poor boy in Crime Alley. Tom King needs to lay off shitty, trash romance books. Can anyone explain why Thomas Wayne is waxing poetic here? Isn't he supposed to be a maniac in this story? This dialogue is a complete embarrassment to himself, the Batman character, and its creators, his editorial team, and DC leadership in general. The beautiful spreads of key events are interspersed with an ongoing fight with Bane illustrated by Jorge Fornes. The assumption is this is all in Bruce's head, but at this point, who knows? And worse, who cares honestly? The fight has absolutely nothing to do with the narration. This could just as easily be Batman and the Condiment King holding hands and skipping. It would sync up with the words just as well. This is also where King really starts making shit up. He attempts to connect the events of the Gift into Bane's master plan. Booster showed Bruce a world without Batman. Readers know a world with the content Bruce Wayne turns into an absolute horror. Except Booster didn't take Bruce with him in the Gift. I guess King forgot that important part of his connected story. Furthermore, it's never hinted at, let alone established. He tells Selina Kyle about what the world becomes if Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Next, Bane calls Joker an old friend of Selina's, whom she always listened to. Since when? King is making up characteristics for a relationship that existed decades before he wrote one single word in a Batman comic. The only instance that remotely resembles this characterization is in Prelude to the Wedding. Joker is also being played like a fiddle, doing Bane's bidding. This doesn't remotely reconcile with Joker's character. He's the ultimate anarchist. He teams up with other villains, but never to serve any purpose but his own. Readers aren't supposed to think about characterization or continuity when reading DC Comics' superstar writer Tom King. Near the end of the story, we see Bane's full army of villains assembled. Man-Bat is here despite being a member of the Justice League. Hush is depicted despite being banished to another dimension in a Prelude to the Wedding issue. DC Comics' current favorite MacGuffin is also here. I'm 99% certain King is using Psycho Pirate to undo some of his terrible mischaracterizations and ludicrous plot contrivances in future issues. In the end, Bane once again lifts Batman above his head and breaks his back. It has no impact with the reader whatsoever. It's merely a reminder of the chasm between all-time great Chuck Dixon and pretender Tom King. Tom King expects readers to believe Bane's original loss to Batman, the War of Jokes and Riddles, Batman and Catwoman's engagement and subsequent not wedding, Booster Gold's The Gift, and more are all connected. It made no sense prior to issue 72. It makes no sense after. Nothing happens in this book. It's just as skippable as King's atrocious Nightmare story arc. Worst of all for King, his story devolved and became so convoluted his post-wedding Batman isn't likely to wash down the memory hole. Much like terrible event books will be compared to his Heroes in Crisis series, terrible story arcs are going to be compared to King's Batman post the wedding. Creators who experience a near instant loss of writing ability will be compared to King's fall in late 2018 into 2019. Readers are eagerly awaiting Batman 86's arrival. They're awaiting deliverance from Tom King's dark, psychobabble Batman. DC customers deserve their voices to be heard, for Batman to actually feature the real Batman character once again. Issue 86 of Batman can't come soon enough. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.